Hello everybody, my name is David Cornell and this is going to be a demo of Landscape, the system management tool from Canonical that lets you manage Ubuntu clients from one central location. In this demo I'm going to show you how to register new clients to Landscape as well as install packages on those clients. Then I'll show you how to keep those clients updated, and we'll also mirror the Ubuntu archive and link these clients to it. And finally, we'll end with a little bit of exploration of the Landscape API and see what's possible when we harness the power of the API. All right, so let's get right into it. This is the interface that you will see when you log into your Landscape instance. So all I did so far is just install into a LXD container. I can show you quickly. I have this is all running on my laptop, and this is LXD is a system container hypervisor that we developed, and you can run different containers. So I'm running this Ubuntu 18.04 containers. One of them is running the server, the Landscape server, and I have some web server clients that are ready to use and to link to Landscape. As you can see here, if I go to the computer section of Landscape, I already registered 3 web servers, and what we'll do now is we'll connect one more, which is going to be web server 1 right here. And to do that, we'll go back to the login screen, and there's a text here that says you can register new computers by following these instructions. So that's exactly what we'll do. I'll just go over these instructions and just run them one by one on the client. All right. So I am now connected to the client, and I'm just going to paste the commands one by one. So making sure the packages are updated before we start. It's not actually upgrading the packages, but just getting the fresh data from available packages from the Ubuntu archive. We are now going to install the Landscape client. And because this is a lab environment, I have to do a couple of things that you might not have to do if this was a production environment with a official DNS server, and if you were using a CA for your SSL certificates. But for now, what I need to do is simply take the SSL cert from the Landscape server, which is already configured on one of my other clients. So just take that and add it to this web server, and do the same thing with an etc host entry for the Landscape server, and then we'll be able to connect it. So let me just also connect to the other web server that I already have as a test. So one thing I need is the host entry, so I'll just get that right here. And I also need in the landscape client.conf, there's the SSL public key, which is the certificate from my Landscape server. It's a self-signing cert, so I just need to add that line here to this client configuration, and just edit the file and paste with the actual cert. So I'll do that right away. And that should be enough for me to register the client to the Landscape server. So I can now take this string here, which is the actual connection to the Landscape client, and if I paste that here, what I like to do is, instead of saying my web server here or something like that, I like to use the hostname shell escape to get the hostname from the operating system, from the shell, and just put that as the computer title, just so that I know which machine I'm dealing with after when I look at the Landscape interface. So it's asking me, do I want to start the landscape client on boot? I'll actually just go ahead and accept the defaults for everything. Is there an account registration key? If I wanted to, I could configure a registration key in landscape server that would allow me to automatically enroll the clients to landscape. Um, I didn't do that, so I'll just go ahead and press enter. That just means I'll have one extra step in the landscape interface to do to accept the client registration, when we'll do it right away. So you'll see it right after this. If you have a proxy to reach the landscape server, you could enter it here. Do I want to enable script execution? So do I want to allow landscape to run scripts on my clients? I'll say no, but you could say yes here if you need that feature. I'm not going to provide an access group. We're just going to use one. I won't specify any tags here during the registration, but you could if you wanted to, but we'll just use the interface to add the tags after. And finally, it's asking me if I want to request a new registration for this new computer, to which I say yes, and it says it's been successfully registered. So we're now going to look at the landscape server. And in the top right corner, I have a little notice that says I have one pending computer that needs authorization. So if I look here, I do have web server 1. So if I just click on it and say accept, it's going to add the computer to this landscape instance. Now if I go back to the computers section, I see that web server 1 is here. It's not completely ready to be managed from landscape yet. There's a couple of things that need to happen. We'll soon, if I refresh, we'll soon see a ping time that's going to show up here. And after that, if I go inside the web server 1 details, it doesn't know which Ubuntu release it's running yet. Those are all information that will be gathered over the next minutes. But instead of waiting for that, we'll go ahead and use web server 2 and web server 3, which I registered a little earlier, which is actually yesterday, but I just let it run since then. So if I look quickly, just take a quick look at web server 2 here, we see that it was registered yesterday. It's pinging. It's recent. If I look at the time in UTC format here, it's 21:52. So it's pinging very recently. It's this client is running Ubuntu 18.04.5 LTS, and I have some information about the hardware. In this case, this is probably hardware from my laptop, because this is a LXD container running on my laptop. We have information about the container type, different things. The tag section here is important. We'll get back to this very soon. I can do a shutdown. I can do a restart from this screen here. So there's multiple useful things here, and we'll go over some of these tabs a little later. But so now I'll take a quick second to show you the packages section from the computer. So web server 2. So I'm actually connected to web server 1 here. I'll just go and connect to web server 2. So we see that it has over 80,000 packages available from the Ubuntu archive. Currently 486 packages are installed, and I have one package that I could upgrade. Web server 3 is probably very similar. And what I'd like to show you now is how you can use a package profile in Landscape to make sure that one package is installed on the clients. So what I want to do is take computers web server 2 and web server 3 and make sure that I have some kind of package installed on them. So the first thing I'll do is go back to the Clovis Bray Labs section here. In profiles here, I can see the different types of profiles in Landscape. I'm going to use the package profiles, and I already had a test package profile here which made sure that Apache 2 was installed. So So what I'll do is I'll just for because I already used Apache 2 as a test package and I put that tag there, I'll just create another package profile and I'll call it web server and I'll actually tell Landscape to install the Nginx package instead. So I'm creating a new package profile, calling it web server. Um, so it's web server singular, and I'll say this is the package profile for web servers using Nginx. It's actually some one web servers using Nginx. The access group, I don't need to touch that right now. The package constraints, I want to say that I could create the instructions for this package profile based on an existing computer with the list of installed packages. I could also import the constraints from a CSV file, or I could run dpkg get selections from another computer and grab that and paste it here. But for this demo, I'll just go and say manually add the constraints. And I'll just say that I want the Nginx package to be installed here. So this is what depends on mean. If I needed the package to not be on the machine, I could say conflicts with. Depends on just means go ahead and install, make sure that that package is installed. So I want the Nginx package to be installed, and it doesn't matter. I could say I need a specific version, but it's simpler to just and also for this demo, we'll say any version is fine. So we just want the Nginx package to be installed. It doesn't matter what version it's running. So it's web server. So the package profile web server is installed now and it's created, but it's not associated to any computers and it's also not associated to any tags. The tags are how we associate the profiles with the client. So here I'm going to use the web server tag, just like the name of the package profile. It doesn't have to be like that, but we'll just keep it simple and we will use the web server tag. So I'm associating the web server package profile with the web server tag. Now, anytime I add this web server tag to a computer, it will be it will inherit this package profile. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'll select web server 2 and 3. And we won't take web server 1 because there's a chance it's not completely ready, completely registered. The package information might not be completely up to date. So for this demo, we'll just take two clients that were already registered to the landscape instance. So I grab these two and I can click on the info pane here and I can add a web server tag to these two clients. So I'll say that I want to add this web server tag, and you see that it created an activity right here to apply the package profile web server. So if I look at that activity, I see that there's two activities that are currently awaiting delivery, and it wants to apply the package profile web server on the computer's web server 2 and 3. So I'll let that run for a few minutes. The way this works is the landscape server creates a job and the landscape clients continuously ping the landscape server and check if there are any jobs for them to run, to execute. And the next time those clients will check into the landscape server, which is something like every minute or so. There's an interval that you can configure for that. But the server will say, yes, there's a job and here's the information, and then the clients will know that they have to apply this package profile. So if we just wait for that, while we wait, we can take a quick look at those computers here. So if I go back and I just take one, let's say web server 3, for example, we can see the different activities. We'll see that the web server profile is being applied here. There's more information about the hardware, but keep in mind this is a LXD container again running on my laptop, so some of the information here is not showing up as a normal VM or a normal bare metal client would show up. You can get some information about the monitoring, very basic information like load and memory and swap disk and different things like that. So you get a little bit of information like that for each computer. You can run custom scripts if you need to. So you could do any kind of script you need. You could create it here, paste it, and then execute that on the computers. There's a process section where you can see the processes that are running on the client, and you can just check something if you need to, and say and or kill, with the equivalent of kill or kill -9 of of the of the process. The packages we've seen a little bit, and we'll continue, I believe, to see that. So we can get information. There's a security section, very important. Currently, so Landscape keeps a database of USNs, Ubuntu security notices, and it constantly checks the clients against the database of USNs, and lets you know if you're vulnerable to any CVEs. If we were vulnerable, this would show up right here. For now, we see that there are no known security upgrades available for this computer, and that we have one upgrade here, which is also, if I click at the top again in this little notification area here, Landscape tells me I have 3 computers that have package upgrades available. So it's the one that we see here, which we will do upgrades right after this. So there's a users section, which can be useful if you want to add a new user to your Landscape clients, or if you want to lock or unlock or add a group membership to one of those users. And the last section in the computer section is the reports, which is a security report. So you can know if a computer has all the security patches installed. You can check if it's covered by an upgrade profile, which we will be looking at later during this demo. And so we see right now that it's not it's not covered by an upgrade profile. So this could be problematic, because the computers, the clients, could go on for weeks or months and never get an upgrade. So keeping them upgraded with an upgrade profile is preferable. But for now, we'll go back to the activities, and we see that the status is green. So if I just go back to the main interface here and go on activities, I see my web server package profile. It's green. It was succeeded. It's been installed on the 2 clients, and we even see all the packages that needed to be installed as requirements for that. So if I go on my web server to client and I check for Nginx, I'll see that it's installed right here. So this is Landscape that installed this package. I'll show you a little trick. If you have one package, specifically your IT team, if let's say they know that one package causes problems with your one of your teams, and tells you need to hold a package at a certain version, you can easily do that with Landscape. If you go to the computer in the package section here and you look at the installed packages, or actually you look at it here, so I can say maybe show me the installed packages, and I don't know, let's say show me the installed packages that match Nginx. And let's say I know that Nginx here has version 1.14.0.0 Ubuntu 1.7, and let's say that I know I need to keep my clients packages at this version of Nginx, or otherwise this will cause a problem, because we know that the next release added some instability, or for any reason. All I have to do is click this little box here. Actually, it's this little box right here. So you expand the package, and you click the little box here, and it says that it's marking this package for hold, meaning that there won't be any updates to this package after that. So I can go ahead and apply this change here, and it's going to put the necessary holds in place on the client so that the Nginx package doesn't get updated later. Let's say you wanted to go manually on one of the web servers, so web server 3, and you wanted to make sure that all the package upgrades were done right away. So we're not talking about a automatic upgrade profile here, but we just want to tell Landscape go ahead and install all the upgrades on one machine. So I selected the web server 3 client. I clicked on the packages section, and we see there's only one upgrade, but it's, there could be any number here, and I can just say request upgrades right here. So if I click the request upgrades button, it immediately starts a activity that will upgrade all possible packages on this client. So that's good to know. However, it's preferable to create what Landscape calls upgrade profiles. With upgrade profiles, you can keep your clients updated, and you can do it on a weekly basis, or so we'll I'll show you. If you go back to the Landscape main screen, again in the profile section, there is upgrade profiles here that you can select, and we currently see there is no upgrade profiles, but I can add a new one, and this is the kind of information you can select here. You can say I only want security upgrades. Maybe you don't want all the upgrades. You just want the ones that are that are affected by a CVE or a USN. And then you can say if you want, when you want to schedule that, what time in UTC. So I could say we could do a profile, for example. Maybe we want to be on the safe side. We don't want to do all upgrades, and so we'll just want security upgrades, and we want to do that maybe every Sunday at maybe 6 6 UTC. So this could be called security patches Sunday 6 a.m. UTC or something like that, and this would be the name of my upgrade profile. And so I said just security upgrades, but it's up to you if you want to do all upgrades or just security upgrades on Sunday at 6. It's going to try to do this for 1 hour. If after 1 hour it failed to contact the clients, it's going to abandon the upgrade activity. You could put that higher if you want to. And you can also say randomize the delivery of these updates over a 30-minute window or something like that, so that if you have hundreds of clients, you might not want all of them to start at exactly the right second at 6 on Sunday. So you could use a randomized delivery window here. I don't really need this, so I'll keep that unchecked for now. So security upgrades Sunday at 6. Again, I'm creating this just created the upgrade profile, and I need to associate it. I could say all computers. This is very useful. Maybe I don't want to bother with a tag, and I really just want all my computers to have this. So, or I could just say the web servers. Why don't I'm going to go ahead and say all computers. So this way I know that every single Landscape client here will get possible upgrades at 6 a.m. Just like that. So yeah, so that's it. There's no activity that gets created from this, because it's there's nothing to run right now. This is kind of in Landscape's kind of cron table for the future, so it knows that it needs to run this, and we see that 4 computers are associated with this profile. I can even click on that and see which computers are associated, and we see that it's actually all my 4 computers that are registered here. At the same time, going back to the activities, I see that the Nginx hold is now in place. So that part is done as well, and it's currently still going to upgrade all the packages on web server 3. The next thing we'll do is create a repository. We'll create an archive. We'll create, a copy of the Ubuntu archive on our Landscape server. For this demo, we won't create a full copy of the whole Ubuntu archive, but just a small subset. but we'll follow these instructions available on the Ubuntu documentation website. Uh, we'll just do a small copy of a subset of the Ubuntu archive, and then we'll associate the web servers that we created to this local copy of the Ubuntu archive. Um, the only thing I went ahead and did before we started was create the GPG key here. So I created the key on my laptop and I uploaded it to the landscape server. So I am now at this part right here. So I'm going to import this key on my landscape server. I have the key right here. So actually, that's true. I have to configure the landscape API. To install the API, we're going to follow the instructions also from this documentation, landscape documentation website. So I'm going to add the apt repository of the landscape API. I don't need to run update, it automatically does it in 1804, Ubuntu 1804. So I'm going to install the landscape API. And it says that we want to have we need a file to source with all the little the secrets like the landscape API key and so on. So I'm going to create a file called landscape API.rc, and in here we'll add these lines, and I'll just fill all of that right here. So to get this information, I can go back to my landscape server and grab the information from my user here at the top right. So I actually don't have any API credentials generated, so I'll click this button to get the information. So API key is going to be this one here. The API secret is the other one right here. I need to put my URI, which is also available on this section here. And I need to do the SSL-CA file. It's the one on the landscape server. It just happens to be in the etc SSL certs landscape file here. So I can just take this this file and put that into my my path here for that. So if I source this file, I should be able to use the landscape API. To confirm, I'll do a get computers, and yes, I see that I have my computers here. Little trick I like to use, you can install JQ. It's not installed, so I can do a apt install of JQ. JQ is just a JSON parser. It gives you a nice output for when you see JSON data. So by installing JQ, now if I do a landscape API get computers, --JSON for outputting in JSON format. If I just do it like this, it's not helping me much. But now if I pipe this to JQ, I get a nicer output. So this is a useful little trick to just output in JSON format and pipe to JQ. I can see my information. So now that my landscape API is ready, I can go back and use the landscape API to import my mirror key, import the key I created on my laptop. We're going to use that as the mirror key here. So I import the key, and then we'll just follow. We need to create the distribution. So we create landscape API, create distribution Ubuntu. So I will paste that. It's done. Then next we create the series. This will create a Bionic series with pockets for release, security, and updates. This is where I actually want to do something much smaller. I believe there's a section at the bottom that talks about this mirror smaller pocket for testing. So it says if you want something smaller, you can, instead of the create series with the big with all the pockets here, we can use this smaller one here that just does updates and restricted. So we'll go ahead and use this one for testing. Okay, back to the top. I did the create series, and now I'm ready to sync the pockets. So I can take this landscape API sync mirror pocket release Bionic Ubuntu, and it doesn't know the release pocket because we just did the update, if I'm not mistaken, updates. So I need to replace that with the updates pocket because that's the one we selected to make it smaller. So it's starting the sync of the packages. It says this will create an activity. If we go back to landscape quickly and we go to the activities, we see that it's currently syncing the updates pocket of the Bionic series in Ubuntu. I can track that here if I want. I can do, I believe that's also on the website. Yes, so I can do a landscape API get activities of the ID that's just one above the one from the output because it creates a new activity from it. So I want to do the ID instead of 10, I want to do 11. So if I look at that again, just clearing my screen and doing it here, I see that the progress is at 1. So I guess I'm going to I was going to say I'm going to pause this, but I think I'll just go ahead. It doesn't matter if the archive isn't quite ready for the demonstration of the linking to the archive here. It's 3% now, so if we're lucky, maybe it'll be finished by the time we get there, but we'll see. So so it says once it reaches 100 here, once the progress line here reaches 100%, then the activity and the web UI will show succeeded. And we would normally mirror the other pockets, but for now, for us, we're okay. We're just doing the small updates pocket. So the next step is to create a repository profile. So you'll notice that whereas we had the profile section here in landscape and we could manage package profiles, removal profiles, and upgrade profiles, we don't have a repository profile here. Repository management is all done at the API like we're doing right now. So landscape, I'll just go ahead and copy this exact command here. So we're creating a description. We're creating a repository profile with the description. This profile is for landscape on-premises servers, calling it example profile. So I'll paste that right here. It's done. We have our repository profile, and we need to associate the computers now with this repository profile. But the first thing we need to do is add a tag. So we'll associate the repository profile, example profile that we just created. We'll associate it with the tag example tag. So I'll take this and I will paste that here. So now we associated our repository profile with the example tag, and we need to add pockets to the repository profile. So I need to, again, I'll just take that, but I'll modify it a little bit because I see it's got release, updates, and security. And we only did the updates in our little demo, so we'll take out the other ones. So I'm adding pockets to my repository profile called example profile, and I'm adding updates from the Bionic series and the Ubuntu distribution. That's done. And now it says that any computers that have the example tag will now get an entry in etc apt sources.list.d that point to this repository that we just created. So all I need to do now is add the example tag to my computers, and that will link these computers to this repository profile. So if I go back to computers here, I could say that I want to take I can say I'll say just for, well, let's go ahead and take web server 2 and 3 for this. Before that, I just want to see if my activities is completed. So it's, yes, it's it upgraded all possible packages from for web server 3. So the only thing that's still in progress is the sync of the Pocket for the repository profile. So I'll go back and say, I can actually, since they're all web servers, I'll just go and take all of them, go to the info tab here and add the example tag to all of them. And it created a new activity called apply repository profiles. And we can see now that it created an activity for each client. And it's going to go, and like the instructions said, it will add a line in etc apt sources.list.d, which is the directory that you can add apt configuration files in, and which will let the client know where to grab their packages from. So while this is going on, I just want to take a minute to looking at the remaining tabs here for the main landscape interface. There's We can set a registration key, which is the kind of special password that you can provide when you register a client. This is where you can set the registration key so that you don't have to accept the clients every time that a new client wants to register. You have a settings section that you can add information for proxy and different settings like that. You can create new administrators in landscape, and you can create roles. The roles can be very granular. So out of the box, landscape comes with the global admin, auditor, and support analyst, but you could create a new role. And for now, I'll just click the auditor role that's already there, and you can see the kind of granularity that we have here. So we can say that we just want this role to have to be able to view computers, view scripts. So we see this is more a view only, read only kind of profile where they can't modify anything. So you can invite new administrators to landscape and give them a role like that, which has been modified very granularly. Access groups are useful when you want to group computers in different organizations. Maybe you have a certain group of admins that take care of a certain set of computers, and another group of admin that takes care of another one. You don't have to use access groups. A lot of people just use tags to group computers and don't need access groups. But if it fits the use case, it's good to know that it's there. The scripts we saw earlier when we looked at the computers section, it's where you can add the custom scripts that you want to send to your computers. So you could, let's say you want to know how many, you want to see anything basically. It could be checking the status of LifePatch. If LifePatch is installed, you want to see if the status of LifePatch, kernel LifePatch, is how it's going. So you could do a script for that. You can create custom graphs also. Let's say you want to see a graph of how many processes are running on the clients. You could create a small bash script and then just add it here, and this would execute and return a number each time, and landscape will just pull a graph for you with the number that's output every time. The profiles we saw, removal profiles is just a way to remove clients that have not pinged the server for a while. And we can see all the different alerts in landscape. So those are all the alerts that would come up here. So right now I have 0 alerts, but if we had a duplicate computers, or if their computer was offline, one computer needed to be rebooted, or if it license issues, not compliant with the package profiles, or if a client can't report packages back to the server, if it needs to upgrade a package, if there's pending computers that need to join landscape, if there's a security upgrades. So we have package upgrades, but we also have security upgrades, 2 different alerts, and more. So there you can see these alerts here, and we see that none of them are triggered right now. And if you want, you could subscribe to the alerts. Subscribing to the alerts mean you will get an email when these alerts are triggered on or off. You can search the computers. There's a section. There's a little question mark here in the computer section. So there's a box here. You can say I want to, search for computers that match web server. So of course I'll see them here. Maybe I could have written test and I would just see the test web server. But I can also be more use different terms that come with the landscape. So if I want to see, which computers have an IP, or which computers need to be rebooted, or which computers match a certain vendor string. So all of these search terms you can use, and if you have a search query that you use often, you can save it, and that would show up in the searches section here. Activities are all the different activities that we saw during this demo. The licenses will just give you a status of your licenses after you applied the license from your account. And the events section is more like a security audit trail. See which admin did what exactly in landscape. And I think that covers pretty much everything. The last thing I want to show you is how you can get a little fancy with the landscape API. So as we've seen before, you can run queries like landscape API get computers. I like to output it to JSON, and you can pipe that in JQ, so you get the different computers here. There's a lot more you can do with the landscape API. If I look for what you could get, you'd see here different things. We can get the activities. We can get the repository profiles. So there's a lot of things we can do here, but this is the landscape API command line, if you want. So it's the CLI version of the landscape API, but we also have a Python module for that. So I put a script here, a Python script that I put together. So if we look at this script here, it's a Python script, and it's importing the landscape API module. And I have my information here, and what it does here, and we won't necessarily go over all of it, but it's just to show you that you can get fancy with the Python module, and you can say, so here I'm building a list of computers that need to be rebooted. So I actually don't have any computers that need to be rebooted right now, but I'm doing a query to the API to get the computers that need to be rebooted. After that, I check if no computers need to be rebooted, I can exit the script right away. But here what I'm doing is I'm doing a list of computers that are not compliant with their package profiles. I'm also building another list of computers that are currently being rebooted, so that I don't end up rebooting computers twice if they don't need to be rebooted. I'm building a list of computers that currently have a package profile activity pending, and I'm creating a list of computer IDs that need to be rebooted. So from the list earlier, we're creating a list of IDs now. And then we're creating a list of computer IDs that are not compliant with their package profiles. And then finally here, and I put that in comment because I don't actually want to reboot anything here, but also I don't have anything to reboot right now. But you can see this last section here would reboot the computers that need to be rebooted and are compliant with their package profiles, but only if they are not currently being rebooted. So this is just one example. It's something that one of our customers needed. So it's something I put together for them to help them with this. But like I said, you can do anything, any kind of automation that the landscape API supports. The Python module gives you even more power there. So after that, when you actually go and run the script, it would actually go and reboot the machines that met these criterias. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching this demo. I hope you learned different things, and I hope you enjoy your time with landscape as much as I enjoyed putting up this demo for you. Thank you very much. Have a great day.